Disclaimer: the information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GAN's processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
The process of understanding is very simple. The process is, as I explained last time, I explained more in detail. We are created out of the rays within the center of the universe. In interaction and reduction in strength and division by the strength in certain strength fields, in collection of the totality of the expansion of the universe, some energies, some dynamic fields have come together. Over billions of years, these fields lead to the creation of what we call the sun. Where the plasma gathers together. The same process repeats again because the sun is the same as the energy center of the universe. Now, the heavier, the larger amount of the energy which is collected in this span of the universe, called the sun, that irradiates out, does the same thing again. Radiates its fields out, and in interaction with itself, with the fields of itself, leads to creation of planet. In that process of the creation of planet, the same process happens again. In the interaction of the fields of the earth with its environment and cooling and exchange with the strength of the other things in the environment of the space of the solar system, leads to creation of man, cell, matter state. And that itself, in coming together and slowing down in certain ways, as we call, leads to another sun. We call the soul of the man. This is the truth about the life and creation of the man. If the soul of the man can understand and absorb and be correct with his conduct, he can become the strength of the fields and carry the strength of the field of the planet which came to this creation. And if the soul can understand with the same process, can interact, can be correct, can absorb with itself the totality of the strength of what it needs, it shall become the sun. And then the same soul has the energy that it can absorb within the solar system, within the galaxy, shall become the center of the universe. Earth, we call it the rain, come from and goes back to. In the solar system, we call it planetary system. We come from the rays, we become the planet, and we go back to the mother. Same thing happens with the galaxies, with the solar systems, which they get absorbed back in and they chewed up back into the universe. The life, the process of existence in the universe is the same. It doesn't matter on what exchange and what extent. So, what is the man fighting for? Why do we fight for something which has come from the point of the creation, and in the process it goes back to the creation? The soul of the man, as the energy of the earth, gives the face of the man, the face of the earth, and that process is the same for the soul of the man. Our soul, in reduction in strength, in interaction with the emotion of the field of the environment, leads to manifestation of the existence of the man. But once it's completed, does it need the face? Or can it be and becomes free from it, what we call the soul of the man, be free and detached from its existence? Our soul is part of the process of the creation. The key to one question for man shall be in the future to be answered. As we saw the sun became the earth, and as we saw the earth became the man's soul, what will be the destiny of the soul of the man now becomes free at the point of departure from physicality? Would it become the sun for creation of another life, or many lives, or correction of lives? This shall be, and this is how it happens. When you create a soul which is not correct, which is misconduct by itself, cannot give, you lead to the creation of this next cycle of creation, which has started the wrong way, the wrong strength. This is one thing the man has never understood. You become the creator of another universe, another cycle. And this is what you have to judge within the structure of the soul of the man. What would I like that cycle to be? In the physical life, we create children. in the dimension of the life of the soul of the man, what that soul will create. If man has thought up to now, that's it, my end, my point, when I die is finished, there's as much fallacy that when the sun is destroyed in any shape or form, there shall be nothing left. But we know the part of the sun becomes part of the galaxy and becomes part of new life. So shall be the soul of the man. The judgment of the man has to be according to what he sees the future his soul can conduct to be. The day of judgment is for the man, not in front of the Creator. That what my soul judges to be and what shall create. Man never understood and shall never understand till can solve this dilemma within itself. The reality is very, very, very real. And that is, as we've seen, the energy of the galaxy become the sun, the energy of the sun has become the earth, and the energy of the earth has become the soul of the man. So shall be the soul of the man, which is the energy itself, another cycle of life. How can you change when you don't understand? How can you change the process of understanding if you do not understand the process of the creation? Do we need to extend the understanding of the man that what is the future he brings? We care about our children, what education they get, what they wear, how happy they'll be, where they sleep. Now the man has to be careful and consider, what life shall my soul create? Because those are the children of your soul. As we see, the rays of the sun has become a planet and 7 billion children of it. 7 billion unlimited, which is growing. So the soul of the man will go through the same process. How many billions and subdivisions and sub-matter state of the physicality of the man your soul shall create? Would it be the soul of wars and conflict and forever killing? Or would it be the soul of this, let's say, solar system, which is peaceful? This is the truth and the reality about the soul of the man. First of all, as I said many times recently, we never understood that the soul of the man is within the structure of the man. And now that we understood, we understand on departure from the physicality of the man, the same process will carry on as it did for a star, a planet. And the soul of the man becomes another energy source, a higher order, which itself leads to the creation. It becomes the star, it becomes the center of the new cycle of creation. This is what the human race has to understand. The cycle actually starts from the point of death and not finishes at the point of death. In so many ways, if one understands, is as the dusts, specks of dust came together to make the earth in the solar system, so has the specks of the atoms has come to be the creator of the man. And the essence of the creation of the specks of dust on the solar system has led to the creation of the man. So shall be the fields from the soul of the man which lead to creation of another cycle of life. What kind of life man would like to have to be created by his soul? This is the day of judgment. This is what man never understood. Now you have to understand. You have no choice. Up to today, you were not aware of it. From today, you are aware of it. You are responsible for it. Your conduct has to be to elevate your soul. That in elevating the soul, what you become the creator of stands correct in the conduct of the citizens. We don't give fairy tale. This is the truth. But as you've seen, the process does not stop with one sun. The cycle carries on. It's very interesting in how humanity now knows in fact to handle the fact. It'll take decades for man to understand, and then you understand those who become the tools of war, the tools of conflict. They have less, they have nothing to start with. They have to become the dust in the solar systems of the others till the day they learn more, as they cannot create a new cycle through their own soul. This is the elevation of the soul of the man. To be part of the creation of a beautiful life for the next cycle. When you don't have it, you have to become another cell in the body of the structure of the bigger, for you to be just there that it can done when you could have been the soul of the man. They say, do not create fear. I give you the point of love for creation. If you cared about your children on this planet to have the best, your true children come out of your own soul in the coming time. How would you like to educate them? How would you like to be when you are in conflict with yourself and the cause of so much mayhem? This is the truth, and the man will take a long time to understand, as now that we understand the soul of the man is an operator for the creation of the future extent of the life of the man. Whatever is gathered by the soul at the end becomes its point of reference of its own creation of its own dimension. But the strangest thing is, what he creates from his soul shall become the creator of the other souls. This is the beauty about the creation, and one understands it, understands no limitation.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 515th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, December 7th, 2023. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation, Spaceship Institute, Education Department, and part of the public teachings in English. My name's Rick Crammond, and I will be host once again in this weekly series of endless workshops. And once again, we have our endless presenter, Mr. Mehran Keshe of the Keshe Foundation, to help guide us through this session and bring the teachings of the plasma technology to us all. Thank you, Mr. Keshe, for being here. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Good morning, good day to you. As usual, wherever and whenever you listen to this series of knowledge seekers from the Keshe Foundation, the Spaceship Institute. Today, now we are somebody this morning. We usually are somebody this evening or late night. Thank you very much for being here today. And sorry that we had to change the time for reasons that hopefully it will be the last time changes like this, but primarily the delays of Thursdays is completed today. And unless something goes, we are somewhere special, we should be able back to normal time of 9 o'clock Central European time in the morning. In the past week, we have seen a lot of changes, a lot of new understanding, a lot of expansion and extension in knowledge of the soul of the man. In past weeks, as we endeavored to understand more, take shape with it, and at the same time understand our own limitation, many of the knowledge seekers have started questioning and trying to understand the process of the creation according to their own, what I call intelligence, how they can interpret according to their education, their background, and how everything else fits into that is acceptable to me, that I can become a little bit more educated within the frame I set for myself. Going across many cultures and many languages, it has become very clear to us that man has no language in the womb of the mother. When he becomes a soul, goes back to the same. When he lives through the soul, goes back to the same. As he loves, as he cries, as he digests the pains of the life within the womb of the mother, so he does outside. And what will be interesting for humanity to understand is, would the man will see the sadness and the sorrow in the dimension of the soul of the man, when the man becomes the creator of totality of his own, in the dimension of the creation. Would the interaction of the fields, would the collusion of all whatever accidentally coming together of two systems, galaxies, stars, planets, would that create a feeling of emotion within the structure of the life, within the life of the man, as a spaceman of the future? What this means, can we go, can we take, can we bring in the dimension of the soul of the man within the structure of the man, within the structure of the soul of the man, understanding the totality of what does emotion brings to the physical dimension of the man, and then would this bring the same dimension to the soul of the man? Would that be that man will come to understand that emotion of the soul and emotion of the physicality are interconnected? Would it come to the point where the man understands more about the dimension of the emotion of the soul in the dimension of totality of his own existence? Can man convey the emotion of the man through the emotion of the soul and control it. The way we control our dimension of physicality through our emotion. Then it'll come to a very big point. We had the emotion, we showed the dimension of physicality. When we become a soul, when we become a seed of a star, when we become the beginning of another cycle of life in a bigger dimension, than creating one or two children, and we create many millions and billions of them, would we carry that emotion to our children through their soul? And would that extension of the emotion of the soul becomes part of the structure of the life which we begin as the mother, as the seed in another position and dimension in the universe? In a coming time, the systems and technologies which are on the horizon and come to completion, and then we'll see, can we show the emotion of us within the system? And then would that emotion allows for it to become fingerprint of it? Would it allow for it in a way that the emotion of the physicality of the man translated to emotion of the plasma allows that plasma to show reaction, where we don't need to write a program for it, where naturally it creates dimension of the emotion of itself. In the coming time, systems developed will carry this, the natural emotion. And then it comes a very big question for the mankind. Would this system developed by the man will take over the man? Where these systems will create their own souls, where these systems will create a dimension of existence that man never knew. What is interesting and what we see is that how our emotion can be fingerprinted in the dimension of the soul of the man. In the coming time, in the next couple of weeks, when we carry that emotion of love through the what we call the cycle of love of Mitra, on the 22nd of December, would we see the beauty of the creation within the man? How many of us will be touched by the true love of the Creator? And how many of us will see that elevation of the soul? And would that be what mankind has been looking for? 2024 has been promised to be the time of completion. And would the 22nd of December will be that time to complete, to show the man that man can love through the soul, that man can receive love through the soul and transmute that to his physicality. In a way, 21st, 22nd of December is the birth of Mitra, celebration light of Mitra. And would we be able, with the technologies we developed, to bring that emotion of love, giving, creation, to those who are there to receive it? And as we thought in the last sessions, would you be able to give it, that it gets received by those who you love? And would it touch them? Would it change them? And the most important thing is, have you learned how to do it? Have you learned how to be a giver unconditionally? And then would it come the time when many of you decide to run, to decide to jump in the ocean of the love, and at the same time learn this is the only dimension. And if once you learn this, you'll come to understand the possibility and proximity of how you can do things and how close you can get to it. The process of the emotion, control of the emotion through the soul, will be nearly completed this year. And that is the time when we start teaching directly and in a way in next year's process of starting for you to understand the next step in the process of the creation. How do you connect? How do you create? How do you separate one field from the other? Which field is the sorrow and which field is the joy? And why do we have always the two opposite emotions in every dimension of life with man? Cry and laughter, joy and sorrow, gravitational and magnetical. And isn't it this that runs the process of the creation of the man? Every interaction has an emotion, and every emotion has its own dimension and the opposite direction to the flow of the same. Yang and yin. And this will become important for the knowledge seekers to understand how you create, and how from that creation you lead to understanding of the totality of your own self and nobody else's. It's like you don't know what it means to be and to love like a father till you become a father. And now it's the same process for all humanity, the mankind or the womankind or any other kind of animals. How do we create to love unconditionally? Through the process of the emotion of the dimension of physicality of the man, that it touches us and it changes us. In so many ways, as we set up the systems, or as we set up the structures, to guide, to support, to show how you go to the dimension of the elevation of your own soul, gradually it becomes to the point that the system developed by us becomes obsolete because you can do it on your own. You can create that dimension. And how you control everything. It's no use trying to copy because you have never understood. And it'll be every use that once you understood, you can use it in any dimension and direction. Process of loving, which is the giving, process of receiving it is harder than giving it. Because you have to have that capability that when I receive it, what am I going to do with it? How is it going to affect me to learn this process? And what changes will it bring for me in the dimension of my soul? Many scientists, many people with intelligence have tried to understand this point, and they have failed miserably. Because there are no books, and there are no hidden titles. In the coming weeks, it's you who have to teach yourself in how to moderate, how to expand, how to retract, and every other point. In the coming time, as we thought in the past teachings, you have to learn to extend the soul of the man. You have to learn how to control the expansion of the soul. You have to remember that in the dimension of the plasma, the smaller you are, the more powerful you become. It's not in the dimension of physicality, the bigger you are, the more powerful. The more of. The biggest problem for mankind has been this, the more of. Where in the dimension of the creation is the less of. the weaker of. It's the one which connects. It's the one which comes a common denominator, and it's the one that everything through creation of it is created through it and is connected to it. There is a process of how to reach this position. In a way, how to become detached step by step, step by step. And do not do it in one go, but over time, little by little, step by step, to build to that point in how the whole structure of the creation can be connected to by the men who decide. You don't connect through the eyes, but you connect through the emotion. You connect through what they suffer with. And then, if you're mature enough to be able to get it off and take it and convert it into a good point, then you have learned a lot. Then you start the progress and the process of development. In the coming time, we create systems which creates emotion in the dimension of the soul, which that will change and can control most of the elements of man in the dimension of what we call psychological pattern, changes in the physical dimension, that brings a change. Teaching how to play with your soul to the benefit of the others and not yourself. In the coming time, when system with the emotion are introduced, man will come to understand how easily it will be for him to change himself, for him to learn, to be in the process of learning how to change everything around himself, even the people, in a way that it suits him. In the society of today, we decide who we want to be, who we want to be in touch with, which kind of people we integrate with, in which position. And we have put barriers, conditions, and parameters for this. In the world of the soul of the man, is not very far. You create what I call packages of the plasmas for a specific condition, but you connect all to one bigger plasma, you call it the soul of the man. If you understood this, then you can manipulate the DNA of the man as much as you can manipulate the RNA, the information line, the line of the soul of the creation. And this will be one of the biggest challenges for mankind to come. To create a condition of balance that one never stands up, but is part of. In the process of the development of the soul of the man, man has to live and to learn that the humbleness is the key to connection. Humbleness is the key to be able to be connected to the totality. And for it to be tangible for man to see, because man is physical. And to what extent will come for knowledge seekers to expand this knowledge beyond the totality of the understanding of today. As I said before, everything has got a time. Everything has a reason, and everything has to be correct on its time, the reason, and the place of manifestation. If you as knowledge seekers, as many of you are listening through headphones, try to connect to all the soul through the emotion of what you feel. Try to connect to the souls and how you communicate with them. How do you communicate with yourself in the dimension of the soul? Even though the dimension of physicality is very apparent and clear all to us. The coming time, when we introduce the systems that can elevate the soul of the man, I'm sure many of you will change accordingly in the dimension of physicality. In a way, you will see that you can recognize, just because the fruit is the less or is the same as what I know, this is what is going to be and how it's going to taste. And it will not be the point that I choose what I want to the taste and the condition which I need to be for a purpose to serve me. Manipulation of emotion in the dimension of the soul is forbidden. Manipulation of the emotion for gaining a better or an advantage to another is forbidden. It's a little bit far-fetched, but with a few moves, we can see. In the coming time, the systems which will carry the emotion will be so fundamental to the work of the man's daily life that the sooner man learns how to control this, how to be able to manipulate, will dictate how much further in the process of the creation you can go. The biggest question will be how and what would you do, knowing that now you have become a listener, and from now on you become the receiver. If the knowledge seekers learn the process of loving through the soul, where you do not need to say I love you, but it's done through the soul directly, and you see how this will change you, you'll come to understand the process of the change has already started, and the use of the cup and the material in it is just an image, which to you might not be correct or sound right, but in fact it's the only way to live that life, to become correct. try to learn how to expand your soul. As I thought in the last public teaching, try to put your hand on your face. And with it, in that instance, and that second, you'll change. You will feel the change. And you allow the change to take shape the way it suits you, but the other one has already chosen what could be what I enjoy. The completion of the understanding of the soul of the man, and then is manipulation to extend it to the dimension, the extension of the every life on this planet, will become very easy in the coming time, in the coming weeks and months. As you learn, you'll find out you pass an animal, you'll know its pain, and then you know how you can remedy it. Where we do not expect to control, but we expect to give and watch. The process of transmutation through the soul of the man is one of the most fundamental ways for man to learn and to be able to use it the correct way. Manipulation of the emotion of the soul of the man by man himself, it will become one of the new cycles of life which we start teaching. You manipulated the ganses, you create the cups, you create the pens, and you see how it just helped. Now it's time to teach the true knowledge of the Creator, and how this knowledge will come to affect every single one of us. Many people will ask this question: am I good enough? Would I be able to do it? Or just I live till one day I understand? And every man has the capability to reach the same point. It is just which way you choose to be there. Through the process of manipulation of the emotion of the soul of the man, men will learn new way of living, new way of understanding, and new ways of interacting. And what is our request from you as knowledge seekers is to find out which part of the structure you fit, and how you can serve, and how you can change that, but you in a usable energy field. The process of manipulation of the emotion of the soul of the man needs full clarity about understanding how and the way the soul of the man operates. When you set out to elevate the soul, when you set out to bring peace into the soul, you will feel that joy, that benefit, that pleasure of being able to give you this, but I have denied myself for the rest of my family. which is now due to shortages, is absolutely crazy and is deepened day by day. Understanding the totality of the emotion of the soul of the man is something that no races in their central control of operation have understood or have managed to complete. Operation of extending the soul, elevation of the soul, has to be in a way that you seal, you lock, and you seal the process. In how you will allow the emotion of the soul interacts with the emotion of the soul of physicality dictates what kind of diseases you're getting. And it's not that I've done once, I can do it again. You forget in doing it. Try to go back within yourself and try to find out, try to understand how emotion is controlled through the inner soul of the man. And to understand how the fields interact, which their normal condition would not be in this position. But the extension and expansion of the emotion of the soul of the man has been, and will be the rest of life. The totality of the soul of the man has to understand how he rolled to the soul. Understanding the elevation of the soul. Through the process of understanding the elevation of the man himself in the dimension of physicality is one of the points which is always been. How do we elevate the soul? How do we come to see it that is ours? Yes, very first, when it completes itself. In a coming time, we can, through the plasma systems, make you laugh, at the same time make you cry, and not much further. You make and you develop that and you test. And that's become a bench work for those who want to elevate their souls without dying. The process of elevation of the soul of the man has to come with a full understanding that I'm not the only user and I'm not the only one who will be allowed to use. Understanding the elevation of the soul of the man through giving will be brought up in depth on 22nd of December session. If you push the process beyond other entities will manifest himself. Developing systems that man is used to, but creating new conditions of the universe started and cannot be stopped. Elevation of the soul of the man through expansion of the soul to elevate the others than yours will become like a water on the back of the life of the soul itself. Once you understand this, you come to understand how to transmute. You come to understand how to move. You don't need to go up and wait for the earth to rotate and come down where you want to be. Where, with a new cycle of development through literally invisible channels, we connect you to the part which is missing. And what you need to do to elevate this, to become the soul of the creator for a new cycle of creation in the universe. Interesting times are ahead. And I hope we understood the totality of what the knowledge is today, that you can act upon. And to be able, upon acting, to give it to the others. How the elevation can take shape. We have to come to understand the facets of what is within the principle of the working of the soul of the man and the soul of the physicality of man. I hope you understood the whole teaching of today. Developing a system to fit individuals by themselves. This is the key to. We need to expand. We need to deliver a workable soul for our physicality. Expansion of the soul, extension of the soul, giving from the soul, all comes through one process. It's for you to decide which one is which and how much you can use one before you lose the interest in how it's done. Try to join us next week, and we try to make a session for all your knowledge seekers to go through this phase collectively together. Try to have a headphone, and then we try to show you how you can receive at the same time as you give. And then the life for every man on this planet shall change. We go through a break and come back. And as I always say, I hope you understood at least you should be clear with your souls. Break. Can you take us through a break? And we come back.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Keshe. Okay, as Mr. Keshe has said, we'll take a few minutes off here and be back shortly with this second part of this 515th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, December 7th, 2023. And I'll remind people that in the second half, you'll have the opportunity to ask questions, and our attendees in the Zoom meeting can raise their virtual hands, and we can acknowledge you and allow the microphone to open. And people in our live stream and YouTube can put comments in the chat there, or questions in the chat there, and we can address them in the second half as well. Okay, be back shortly.
The revolutionary new Flight Enhancement Spaceship unit is due to be launched in June 2022, and in the same year is expected to fly passengers into space, to the moon and beyond for a day or even several days at a time. There is no need for the Flight Enhancement Spaceship unit to carry food or medicine, as it is equipped with the latest space technology for transportation, transmutation and deep space operation. This extraordinary breakthrough technology ushers in a new era of travel without the need of fuel, food, or medicine, even during the longest excursions into deep space. Each spaceship unit has a 4-passenger capacity for long or short duration flights and has the capability to travel between cities on Earth in a matter of seconds to minutes, depending on the distance and speed. This ability to traverse massive distance in such incredibly short time is not just a breakthrough for human transport, it also completely revolutionizes the transportation of goods and cargo, and will rapidly overcome the need for one of our most polluting practices, namely marine shipping, as it finally breaks us free not only from the combustion of heavy diesel, but from the combustion of any fuel for propulsion in the future. The Flight Enhancement Spaceship Unit, a new paradigm in space travel, space medicine, and space technology.
Okay, here we are back again at the 515th Knowledge Seekers Workshop. And this is the second half where we get to ask questions of Mr. Keshe. And are you ready for questions, Mr. Keshe, or maybe you have something you'd like to say first?
Yes, thank you very much. Ready for. There's a couple of announcements which I'd like you to inform. Those of you who bought the mirrors in the past year or two and you wanted to start learning how to use them and what are for. Those of you, if you have them when you join the 22nd of December session, bring them with you. And we will split you into the groups or section which have and they don't have. And we'll try to bring into the front the use of these, the new technologies, which now that our systems are developed, you can use. Then you can bring it to manipulate and to be able to receive, that then you can create the energies with. And as we always say in the plasma technology, energy is magnetic fields in motion. And how you can use these to create a condition of giving in receiving. What we call in the past the 22nd of December session, it's most probably one of the most glorious days of the work of the foundation. In the very first steps that we start understanding how to allow the energies within us to be given, to be shared in a form of knowledge of the emotion of physicality and emotion of the soul together. I have never looked forward to a session than the 22nd of November session, where we'll bring a lot of joys, a lot of changes to a lot of us, in a way the essence of energy from within us to extend. And if you have the mirrors with you, bring them, and we'll start experiencing a new experience. And we go through it to see how the extension of the joy and energy will come with us. If there are any questions, please go ahead.
Yes, we have a hand up with one of our attendees here, Eskandari. So perhaps we can start with them.
Hello, Mr. Keshe. Hello, Rick.
I think she's from Canada. Right.
Yeah,
you're from Canada, yeah. We were there before, yes.
Yes. Thanks, Mr. Keshe. Thanks for all the teachings. And as Persians say, خسته نباشید. And my question is, I'm not sure if I misunderstood or I missed something. If our physicality is due to Earth field, then my question is how astronauts keep their physicality when they go to space? Thank you.
We are still connected to the fields of point of our creation, which is the Earth. Even we go in the other part of the universe. But we have not been far enough to be away from the dimension of the fields of the solar system to really feel the change in the dimension of physicality. Our physical life at the moment is still conditioned by what I call the star of the system. Doesn't matter, we can't escape from it. Be it on Earth, be it on the Moon, anywhere else. And this is what I call, just because you went a few inches or centimeters or kilometers above does not change.
Okay. So if we go beyond that, then
At the
beyond the
moment,
solar system, then they will lose their physicality.
we don't lose our physicality. Our physicality adjusts according to the environment.
Okay.
And according to the wishes of our soul, our emotion. It has a huge game to play. Our soul is a plain canvas in interaction with the energies of the environment. It gets painted to the dimension of how it looks. All our souls, doesn't matter where, from an ant to a man on this planet or another position, is a plain canvas. It's how the environment interacts with it. It takes shape. It takes dimension of physicality. And it allows it to manifest itself. And our physicality change. We've been on the moon in the condition of the forces of man clothing. We have not been on the moon jumping out of the, what I call the monkey suit. We die. Because the environment is not built to support the body of the man. For us to survive, we have to change that dimension. And soon we realize, all of us, you cannot breathe, there's no oxygen on the surface of the moon. So you have to find a way to absorb energy from the environment of it. So the lungs are out of question. There is no water on the surface of the moon. Unless we drill a hole, we might find the water, but would it be the combination that we can digest? What do they say? Never, what do you call it? Use the water from here or there, it can kill you. You don't eat the snow. When it melts, it becomes water. Fresh, you drink it, and the rest of it. We don't have water, so there it goes, our digestion system. The reality is, there's no food. How are you going to feed yourself on the moon? No cows, no grass. So, you're a dead man. You're as good as a stone on the moon. To live on the moon as a citizen without the oxygen backpack, without the energy packages from the earth, there's no life. So we have to change to our physicality. We always looked at present science in what we have done, what we have, and never looked at the reality. The reality is to test. Take an astronaut and tell him, take your clothes off, see if he survives. Now you understand. We change our shape according to the environment. We have to. We have no choice. So our physicality of the man is for this planet. We air breathe, we water to drink, we have grass and God most cows and beefs to eat, and the rest of it. As I was telling a vegetarian, we are all vegetarians because even the cow we eat eats grass, so we the vegetarian cow, so we are vegetarian. But on the moon, another position, if we can survive, then we can say yes, the body of the man will be the same everywhere. The only way the soul of the man, the emotion of man survives anywhere in the universe, once he learns to go through transmutation. To let the fields of his soul to interact with this environment and manifest itself that it can exist in that environment, can survive, can replicate, can generate new generations.
So, Mr. Keshe, there comes another question to my mind: how the astronaut suits keeps their connection to the Earth? Is there something special there?
Connection, we have encapsulated gas in it.
Okay.
We have encapsulated gas as they breathe. We have created the insulation, isolation. You make a hole in one of these capsules and see if they survive.
Nice. Thank you so much. Thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. Oh, I've been sent a reminder by the Keshe Foundation sales team. They have put in new, what I call toys for Christmas, with what we call knitted different things, and they wanted to be promoted. These beautiful things, if you go to the sale section of the Keshe Foundation, and apparently they put in some the discs. If you join the Keshe Foundation, a few of them has been put for celebration of London conference as a set, and there are new products of the Keshe Foundation. They are hand knitted, what do you call it, different animals or whatever, but they all have cancers and they've been set for a specific purpose. If we can go to them and show, it'll be nice because they want to promote them. They are Christmas this year, handcraft knitted things by the Keshe Foundation. As we, these are bees. There are different sizes and different animals, all sorts. The hand crochet by the Keshe Foundation people. It's made especially by for the Keshe Foundation. As you know, we have moved out of Linz UNO Center totally now. We have what we call left premises. Just 1 second, please. As we vacated the premises, if you remember, one of the Italian knowledge seekers, yes, this is the promotion coasters, which were very few limited. It's about a few sets of them. Only left, I think, 6, 7 of them, and that'll be the end of it. This was for remembering the London conference. If you remember, the Italian painter donated all the paintings to Keshe Foundation. Now that we moved and will take some time to come back on, these paintings have been put on, there's about 5 sets of them, to be, what do you call, to be cleared out, to be taken out. And we put the set at €500. They used to be 3,000 originally, but we just, because they belong to foundation, we don't want them to be staying around and getting damaged. So if any of you would like to have any of these sets, you can purchase it directly. And the paintings now are just there for this purpose, and then there'll be no more of them. I was asked the question, what happened to the red spot? What do you call it? The pens, the new evolution in the, what we call, technology. They will be released this week, and you can order them because some people wanted to buy them. And at the same time, that what we call the relief GANs, which is now is on promotion, it should be coming out. This is a magical, what we call GANs, is a trial for us, and we want to know how you feel with it and how, when you use it, and the instructions are there. It's called the relief GANs. It's an amazing thing, development in Keshe Foundation, and we'll try to expand this kind of things, that we expand the next step and how things will be and how we'll develop. The Wellness Center of the Keshe Foundation, as we said, announced the trials for asthma, autism last week, and it's amazing what they can achieve, and we can get in touch with them and start the process, especially those of you who have these kind of concerns. You can talk to the doctors there, and they can sort a lot of things that you don't, what do you call it? You can understand how the plasma works and how you can change it for yourself. Any other question?
We had a couple of questions on products while we're on the topic here. We had from Bose in the Q&A in German. I translated to good evening. They said 21 days ago that the production of the communication bundles has been completed and shipping is beginning. As of today, the computer does not show any shipping. Can you tell us about that, and will the units arrive before Christmas?
Yes. 25 has been, or should be completed by Christmas. And then they go on the matter of the orders, and then the next lot. These are very hard to build. They are not easy. And yes, 25 sets has completed, or going through to be completed by Christmas. Depends what the shipping section will do with it. And then it takes sometimes 1 or 2 days to build one. They're not easy to build. And then in January, the next batches start, because they do these in batches. And I was told 5 were completed by last Monday or Tuesday or this week. And the rest, it goes, that's what sits for the production. Yes.
Okay, a question from Sardio in live stream. I'm sorry, in the YouTube. Is there a delivery date for the electric gas unit? I think he's talking about this power unit here.
Yes, this will be done out of China. It'll be we are trying to do it at least in the first quarter of 2024. Yeah. There is a lot of position regarding the gas generator, and as we had to demonstrate it for its commercialization to the what we call authorities in China, and there's a further development on this. And yes, because when it goes into production, it goes for hundreds of thousands. It's not just for a few pieces that the knowledge seekers have ordered. It's a change in the course of actually energy production. And in the next week or two, this is under discussion for the production in 2024.
Okay, let's move back to the topic of emotions and the soul. Fried has a question in our live stream. He says, "Dear Mr. Keshe."
Just give me 1 second. Let me get you something. There is something about the communication unit bundles. You will receive it in 2 halves. You will receive the 1 part, then you send an email to the foundation that I received my part, the first part. Then the second part will be shipped to you. This is how the bundles will be shipped. You receive 1 part and then the second part. There's a reason for security and the reason that people cannot abuse it and the rest of it. And communication units are not like what you call obisos, that are totally outside the framework of the Keshe Foundation regarding our work on that side. Is communication systems, and then you'll understand how to use it. We will teach you how to do it. Any other question?
Okay, we have a question in live stream from Fried, who says, "Dear Mr. Keshe, you stated that no manipulation of the emotions is allowed. Is it then that we completely accept whatever emotion shows up in our daily life and expand this to all-encompassing love?"
Once you work through the soul, yes. Once you trust this is from my soul, this is what the emotion created. Because work of the soul is accommodation, accommodating each other. Work of the physicality is forcing my way. Or I do it till I get it, or I've been forced to do it because I've been told to do. And so when we learn to live in the dimension of the physicality, we live the life of the man. And when we live in the dimension of the soul, we live in knowing that already decision to be correct has been set.
He goes on to say, "And would this lead to the humbleness and elevation that you also spoke of?"
It does, because we know the facts. Yes. Because we know what is done is done with a carbohydrates of meat.
And Wolfgang in the live stream after Fried says, does everything change after transmutation? Or what is kept from the former existence before transmutation? Parts of the body, illnesses, emotions, fully awareness of the state before and after transmutation.
Transmutation on Earth will be the same as you do the transmutation, but in a faster way, and a lot of other things with it. Transmutation dimension of the space technology is a game to play with. It's absolutely a game to play with. Some of you will know you're going through the transmutation. You learn this, and for us, it's become natural way to do. In a way, those of you who learn to go through transmutation by yourself, when somebody's sitting in front of you and you keep your eyes open, through your eyes they can see you going through transmutation. And then if you allow the physical life to go through it, you go total transmutation of physicality and everything else with it. And you'll see the change of the color of the eye, for example. You will see the shine, the silverations of the skin. And you'll see the process of the transmutation. In death, you leave your physicality behind. In transmutation, everything has to change too. And it's an amazing experience. So we learn, gradually learn. I've been witness to it many times. Many times. I would just only let me ask a question. 10 transmutation system, half part of it will be shipped by Friday. Those who asked. So by Christmas you should receive half of your transmutation units, and then you send an email to where you place the order. The second part will be shipped. I thought there was about 5 ready, but 10 will be ready by Friday. You have to by next Friday. Then tomorrow is a national holiday in Austria, so there is no shipping. Any other question?
Okay, we have a hand up here with our attendees. But before we go there, let's answer one question from our Q&A from the Brazilian community through Cristiano. Mr. Keshe, do you consider the Frenchman Allan Kardec, who codified the Spirits book in the 18th century, to be a prophet or a messenger? Thank you for your teachings.
Do you know my usual answer? Who?
Ooh, exactly.
I do not know, so.
I would have to look that one up myself as well, so.
Oh, if Rick has to look, it means always a big question.
Okay, well, we'll let that pass and go on to Mehran here as a hand up. Go ahead, Mehran.
Yes, hello, thank you, Rick. Hello, Mr. Keshe, hello, everybody. And well, I've no words to thank you for this patient elevating us little by little. And your efforts, thank you very much. Secondly, if I'm not mistaken, I just heard you saying that for next week, all knowledge seeker go get an audio cast and be in this program. Do you mean next week or do you mean 22nd?
Next week, we will do a session with all the knowledge seekers who have a headphone. Nothing to do, this is nothing to do with the 22nd. This is something for all the knowledge seekers to start experiencing part of the, what we call elevation of the soul.
How does it go?
Will that be right in the workshop, the knowledge seekers workshop next week?
Yes.
Okay.
We will set out to bring a new dimension in. That most of you have to be present. On recording will not work. It will not work if you are recording it.
Thank you very much, sir.
But we connect you to certain ways with us through the teaching. And it will be interesting for all of you to feel. Many knowledge seekers were waiting for this, and this gradually in the following months will become part of the bigger picture of the work as the extended teaching and the work of it.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
Mr. Keshe, most people in the usual Zoom sessions with the headphones are using an iPhone or some kind of phone system. So is it okay for people to use regular headphones with their home computer or laptop?
Yes, don't worry about left or right. This system doesn't have that problem. It'll be better than we tell you how to do it at the beginning of the session. We organize from our end, and it'll be something for you to feel the dimension of the energies and the fields of the plasma. And the time has come to bring a lot of changes gradually. We will start a process of a lot of things. Something we just remembered to explain. Those of you who bought the prevention policy and other packages of the wellness of the Keshe Foundation, in the next few days, hopefully before the end of the year, you will receive your invitation for your first session with the Wellness Center. Please respond back to confirm the date, the time is acceptable to you, back to the foundation, and you'll be given a second time. Second session is 2 sessions a year. That'll be your time for the second session to book in. And I think most of the whole thing starts in January 2024. So all the wellness, those of you who bought the policies or paid for different policies of the Keshe Foundation for wellness or prevention or whatever, you should be receiving an email in the coming days. Please respond to it that you accept the time allocated, and you can join in it. And you do this twice a year according to the policy which you bought. Any other question?
Okay, we have a number of questions in our Q&A here. First question from Daisy from the Brazilian community. Hello, Mr. Keshe. I came across the plasma science recently, and I've been wondering if it could help me understand something that happened to me in the past. I was walking down the street. A ball of light in the sky close to the sun began to send a ray of light towards my head. It was visible, and I even took a picture of it. I was wondering if you could explain how we can connect to the world of creation, and if this connection could appear visibly like the beam of light coming towards me. Thank you very much.
As I always say, I haven't been there, so I cannot explain it. And each one of us have different kind of experience when it comes to these things, in one way or another during our lifetime. A lot of people see light balls moving around. A lot of people see different things. But I do not, it's not to say you're wrong. It's to respect, and unfortunately, as we haven't been there, to explain it. But doesn't mean that it was wrong or you imagined it. It's how we all have our own beauties, and we all receive or see according to our own strength. And as somebody wrote to me, I hope I wasn't imagining. We never imagine. It's there, is what we could not accept, and we have to respect. What you've seen, I cannot explain because I wasn't there. And one has to be there to see, be able to explain the phenomena.
Okay, we have another question in the Q&A from Hung Wei. Hello, Mr. Keshe. Last Thursday, you said that after we die, we will move to the bodies of animals that eat us. Combined with what you said before, if we don't learn transmuting, we will be located in other parts of the universe according to our own soul strength after death and become stars or part of them or cosmic dust. Does this mean that after we die, we are divided into several parts? The main part is located in some place of the universe, and the other energy parts become part of the animals that we have that have eaten our bodies?
Yes, that is a normal understanding, yes. That what goes is to the soul. If your soul of physicality and physicality elevates the soul of the animal which you became part of, your physicality, your soul of physicality become part of. In elevation of, in receiving that energy, and is, if becomes part of the elevation of the soul of that animal, on its death, yes, you have become part of your energy, not you, your energy of your physical existence now become. It's like if you eat an apple, it's another entity, another life. Part of it will become part of your soul. And so now you carry the essence of soul. You become part of the soul of that creature.
That's in the case of the apple, we throw away the core and it becomes food for other entities in the earth again.
Yeah, but the thing is, there's an old way saying, don't waste food. You have to throw it away. But if you understand that what we throw away becomes a cycle of life for another life, it doesn't have that meaning the way it was intended.
In a way, if we don't throw it away, then we're depriving those entities of their energy. Yeah. We should throw more food out.
Yeah, put it this way, the ones we do it deliberately, we are proud of doing it. The ones we are not doing deliberately, we call it as is wrong. You know, we buy food or we buy bread and we go feed the duck. Oh, that duck doesn't eat. Everybody brings something else. But we feel good because we feed, we take food, we leave it outside for the birds to eat. But that food you put, it becomes a food in the cycle. We're all part of the same structure. It depends how much we fuss about in which part of it.
Okay, our next, sorry, go ahead.
We have to be politically correct nowadays. So we have to understand we are part of the whole structure the same. Any other question?
Speaking of being correct, in the YouTube from seventh star, who says, make sure that the knowledge of the soul's emotion manipulation goes only into the hands of right souls and never into the hands of those sick souls out there when they are not ready. So do you think you can direct your knowledge only to the right souls?
Souls, yeah. It all depends on whose benefit, huh? If it benefits into whose benefit. I had something extremely, I couldn't stop laughing, but the rage inside me was worse than actually laughing about it. When you listen to the situation with Gaza, this afternoon the head of the United Nations has made a comment in a way that they needed a solution to stop this and make the state who was doing it a criminal state, and then all the sanctions by United Nations. And one of the ministers of Kevin says he does not understand what he's talking about. We can do what we like in a way, and we are immune from these things because we control the Americans that control United Nations. In a very different way of putting it. And I thought, how can we are different? And he speaks about they taking women and children and hostage-ing them. And the head of the nation does not understand our hostages that are in their hand. And I said, my God, you're killing children in tens of thousands now, hundreds of thousands, and nothing. Is there any difference between your blood and their blood, their pain and your pain? And how irresponsible, how arrogant this nation has become. As I said, we've taken the love of God from the blood of Moses. You will see their suffering beyond their imagination. Even I come partially from that blood. When man doesn't understand, has no emotion, and he sees himself as at the top, is the time which is actually at the bottom is barking. And in the very near future, I'll wonder if a single plane can fly over Israel. You will understand very, very soon. The nations who take gun policy, very soon they'll find out, very, very soon they'll find out who silenced those guns. And the process of it is not to be a threat, is to stop the suffering of other men by misguided work of them. Doesn't matter if the gun shot in a school, on a train station, or in mass in Gaza, or anywhere else. there should be no, man should have no access to tools of killing. And our job is to create peace and to change that from inside. And we see only the ones who brag about their faith and their religion are the ones who are doing most of the murders. The Jews, the Muslims, the Christians, and soon these will be silenced. If we do it, they say they've done it to us. If they do it themselves, they walk away from it. And this is part of what is to come. The process of next Thursday is the beginning of that cycle. We shall see. Any other question?
Okay, again in our Q&A from Jefferson. Says, my name is Jefferson Modesto. I'm from Brazil. Thank you very much for your presence among us. My question is the fact that we can't expand the soul beyond the soul of physicality and physicality due to us not knowing how to do it or not having enough energy in the soul?
How come you do it when you're asleep? And you call it a dream. It's you who has put that limitation on it. And nobody else. How come when you call it a sleep time, when you reduce the fields of your flow of blood, you do it? And when you're awake, if you balance the emotion of the body of the man, you will allow the soul of the man to expand. In the session of last week with knowledge seekers, we showed partially how to do it, to try to expand, to be able to create that light. It's you who has put that ban and limitation, not your physicality, not your solar physicality, and not even your soul. It's your thoughts and your emotions who's put the limitation. Have you ever watched your children when they're asleep or they go to sleep and you're awake? Have you watched your dog when he's asleep? When they dream, when they laugh, when they move, when their eyelashes move fast, when they cry jumping out of sleep. Have you ever watched them? That's a soul trouble. If you had in a special glass, like that we have the night goggles you put and you see at night, if mankind understand this and develop the glasses that can see the strength of field at this level, you will see the soul expanding, the soul traveling, coming and going. We have blinded ourselves to this field. Watch the eye of many, many children when they're born, and their eyes stays blue or grayish blue, and stay in that blue. And especially the first days they're born is light blue, bluish, grayish, bluish. And if you watch your children, certain positions, especially the children of Mitra, you watch them, you see it in their eyes. While they're sitting, their eyes will go grey blue. They could be brown as anything, or black as anything. So always turn their back on you, as you don't see, and you see their eyes going grey blue, greyish, light blue. And then you understand what the soul travel is. This is when the soul is traveling. They're still there, they're still physically maybe talking to you, or they're busy playing with themselves, with their toys. But when you look into their eyes, the eyes are grey blue, light grey blue. Is when the soul travels. Stay quiet. They're learning to live with both dimensions. And this is the way they will do communicate and live that life. And we get that many of us at the point of death, when the soul travels, when the soul is departing from the body. You see that. One day I explain why this color. Then there's no question to ask. It's just that we are blind. We have chosen ourselves to be blind in the dark. We have chosen to be blind to the fields of our soul, the expansion of our soul, observation of our soul and the others who come and go with it. I've witnessed this many times, and it's an amazing feeling when you see the soul travels. I watched it once with one of my sons, and he said, "Dad, how is this possible?" I said, "Just learn." Just learn and watch. Any other question?
We had a question from the Alexandra of the Brazilian community regarding children. She says, "Good afternoon. I work with children, and it has been challenging to contribute to their good. I would sincerely like to learn how to contribute to the elevation of these children's souls in the short period of the day that I'm with them, when they are under my responsibility. How can I touch these children's souls?"
Give from your soul. Just instead of sitting there and talking to them, just elevate their souls. Make it available for them. How come you make it available, the education of mixing the colors, and you show them? Sit there and elevate them. Don't expect to see a result, because you'll see the results, or they see the result of it in the time to come. We always look to get an answer or see a response. And depends how they dictate it to us, we respond to it. And we take it to be. And this is the process that try to elevate them. Try to leave your soul to make a decision. It's very hard. And you, as you live, you come to trust to do it, because you see the answer of it. And you learn to live with it, because you see the outcome. As long as it's correct for everyone, even the knowledge you give them, you find out they come and pick up the color you were thinking, says, oh, amazing, because you gave the knowledge through the soul. How would you taught the children in your class if you had no mouth? Would they stay illiterate, or would you teach them with your soul? You don't need to force it. You make it available. And they pick it up. This morning I had to attend, that's why the session was put the afternoon. I had to attend something which is going around in my life for a long time. And before I leave, when I woke up this morning, early in the morning, and before I leave the house, I said to my soul, bring a condition which is balanced and correct. Not what is to my benefit or anybody else's. And bring a just and correct. Then this thing can close. He could have gone for years. I went to a meeting, and because of the reason was cancelled and whatever, to come back another months and months and months. As I walked away in the corridor, going down the stairs, it's like my soul brought me, picked me up and brought back. You're not going, you left it to me to do it, you go back. It's very strange. I was like 5 or 6 steps down in the steps going. I felt my physicality just literally twisting and turning, because I left it to be done. I wanted it to, was my wish, but to be correct. And within half an hour, what could have taken years or so, done, finished, and all correct. And this is the way it has to be. And then you learn it. Because my wish was sincere, to finish a lot of things and done with. My physicality doesn't have to suffer, and nobody else's, and yet. And it was the strangest thing, and I've got used to these things. It's just like halfway down the stairs, about 5 or 6, 7 steps down the stairs, and it's just my soul said, no, you left it to me, I've done my job, get back up and finish it. And you stand there, and the things discussed, everything was impossible. That's why everything was delayed for another meeting and another year, 2 years running, and was done within half an hour, to the satisfaction of everyone available. Because I didn't want anything of it. I had no physical attachment. And this is how life is. You leave it to the soul. When you teach, imagine what happened. How would you have taught your children in the classroom if you had no mouth? With your eyes? Mm-mm-mm. What happened if they had no ears? They can't even not hear your voice. What about if they're blind? They can't see. One day when our teachers learn to teach the soul of the child, the physicality was so beautiful, does not need the ear to hear, it does not need the eye to see. It'll be educated in knowledge of the universe. Yesterday was St. Nicholas, what we call the day of birth of the daughter of Mitra. And it's a celebration for children. And traditionally, in some ways, some, what do you call it, beliefs or whatever, the child wakes up and waits to see if there's a sweet in the shoe. And if there's a sweet in the shoes, it means they've been a good children that year. And St. Nicholas brought and put the sweet in their shoes. But do our children have to wait for that sweet to know they've been a good? Or do we tell them every day they are good? And that's what is important. How would you teach if I bring a child of an alien in front of you who has no ear, understands no language? Does he have to stay literate? If you learn as a teachers to, when you're children in the classroom, my son is a teacher and I always tell him, and I tell him, raise the soul of your kids in the classroom. You'll find out they'll love you to death. They'll find peace with you. It took him 5 years, and I met him very recently. Says, "Oh, I love the students. I love the children coming to me, and I have changed to enjoy them, and as much as they enjoy just being in my class." Try to elevate the soul of your children as they walk into the classroom. Elevation comes, make it available. The words behind that door, no breakfast because mom has no money to put the breakfast on the table, being bullied outside that room, whatever. And then you find out your teaching is different. Then when you just go in and sit down, I have to teach, I'm the boss, I teach. Any other question?
Yes, we have a hand up with Salamia here. Perhaps we can hear from her. And then there's several more questions in the Q&A we'd like to address.
Hello, Mr. Keshe. Thank you, Rick. Hello, everybody. May I ask you, Mr. Keshe, about what you said, that we are part of the totality and we are also totality. How we can explain to simple people?
Explain them, just pray for them there, we give to them, they'll understand. We are part, this is the easiest way because we are. we are all connected through the fields of the universe. So we are, the universe has no structure without our fields. But the structure of the universe has built us. The field is like, as I said, if you're not there as a field, you think your physical body, but it's the field of it is like a pimple on the arm of the creation. But on the other hand, that wimple is made from the creation itself. We are part of it, but is part of us. It's the same. It's just because it's fields.
It's like a fractal.
I'm not a scientist. These things don't mean it.
A compressed.
No, it's just the field, the way it is, the way we are part of everything, and everything is part of us. Without it, we don't exist, and without us, we cannot confirm its existence.
Yes, I understand myself, but I don't know how to explain to people in order to be understood.
Oh, it's very easy to understand it. Maybe they like you to talk with them and they say they don't understand you, talk more to them. But in principle, this is the way it is. We are the beginning and we are the end. We come from the source and we go back to the source, and the source doesn't exist without us because we are part of it.
Yeah.
Any other question?
It's clear. Thank you very much.
Okay, we have a question in the Q&A from Nikolai. He says, "Good evening, Mr. Keshe. Thank you for today's teaching. My question is to do with the sandbox of the 5-cup stacker, which we were to use as a training device. It once brought me to a very wonderful experience. I was so overwhelmed with the feeling of love that I had to remove my headphones, leave Rick's classroom, and lay down. I was completely filled with love and was laughing at the amazing experience. The glow lasted for hours. It was the most love I've ever experienced in my life. I am curious if you can teach us something about how to recreate this experience without the 5-cup system."
Join 22nd of December session. You will feel it inside. And we know what we are doing with you on the 22nd. And if you learn it, you can repeat it for all the time. That's the whole purpose of the session on 22nd. You have to understand if you're a lover or you like to be loved. And then you can decide in how to enjoy. As you get one, it becomes the other one. It's a saturation. It's like, as I always said, it's like acidity and salinity. If you go to maximum salinity, you come acidity. If you go to the lowest, you go back to the same. Any other question?
We have a short question from Jalal who says, "Are we there yet?"
We've always been there. Is if you caught up with us yet, that's a different story. We've always been there.
Okay, a question from Luís Rios from the Brazilian community about understanding how plasma energy decays into electrical energy. Would transmutation be the opposite movement, where the matter in our body is elevated to plasma?
The energy always, energy of universe converts into energy of matter through frequency. That's where we know the conversion has come. It's like hammering it till you get through it. That's what the frequency is. When you go through that border, if you find out what it is, depends, like a hole and mesh. If you find the right energy to fit it through that hole, in that hole it gets converted back into matter energy. And always has a frequency. Frequency is a habit of matter existence. And that's all. Any other question?
Okay, just a couple more to go here. We also have
We'll finish it soon.
a
I had a
hand
bit
that's
rough day today.
Yes, right.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yep.
Achilles thus says in the Q&A, who's very excited to hear about the session next week, is one more question I need to confirm. I have many maggrav coils, ganses, and nanomaterials in my room. Should I remove them before I participate in the session? Thank you.
Preferably, yes. God knows what you have created and you get connected to. But the thing is, you knowledge seekers have so many ganses everywhere, you're already part of it, you're connected to every bit of it. Coils, magravs, and you keep on building it and keeping it. I have a special jar, one of these 5-liter jars. I have a habit to leave things over fridge and freezers, ganses, because there's always dynamic fields. I enjoy doing it because if you understand it, you can connect and it comes on and it's got a frequency to it and everything else. And I watched this jar of gas on meet it, God, it was a long time ago. And every time I look at it, it keeps on changing its energy. I said, I wonder how much of this energy is going to the food inside. And how much of it will affect what's inside. And this is a part of, in a way, I don't need to drink ganses. The ganses already, energy is gone into all the food in the fridge and freezer. And it's the way it is I don't, just because I know the technology, live by it, but like you lot, my environment is saturated with energies in this form or shape. New systems, new tests, and new things, and when I walk, it's just like a museum of technology. Of them is emitting or receiving energy from me, and they keep on changing color, and I look at them and I say, oh, but this jar is amazing. It's something which does not exist in the nature, naturally, in the body of the man. And I have, over years of experience, managed to replicate it. To the scientific world, it's worth trillions. There's every man will give their life to put hands on it. But it's there, and I watch it, how it changes, how it interacts, and how it interacts, and the reason it interacts. One day it's blue, one day it's green, one day it becomes gray, One day is this color, one day is that color, one is got a mist over it. And I watch it. In the world of medicine or in the world of biology, they call them enzymes. I have a knowledge to produce these things which are not natural. It's only created inside the body of the man through certain chemical reactions or whatever, and then tell you it does not exist. We cannot, it's just a process of the body of the man which produces them for the needs of it. And I produce them very naturally, and I see their energy around me. I feel their energy. And impossible to do a test which is a natural test. If you notice, those of you who attend most of the sessions on Fridays every month, my microphone is totally off. Unless I come to talk, whatever, majority of the time, if you look at the microphone where I work with you, is blank, it doesn't exist. Because if I stay in, I become part of your work and affect all of you. And we tested this directly, where I put headphones or I come in talking, the whole graph changes. Totally. That's why I don't use headphones, I don't interfere with your sections. I'm just like an observer, knowing, organizing, watching what's happening in the background. Majority of the time, when you look at the sessions, mine is just a camera or video red. You don't see a headphone. You don't see, because if I leave the headphone, even though you can't hear me, but I receive your energies, because it's like you hearing me if I keep my microphone is shut. So I keep out of your, what I call, business. But if I do, it'll interact with you, and then it interacts the graph immediately. We watch it, and we've done it, we know it. We brought the daughter of Mitra once or twice in the sessions, and we saw the mayhem she created. And we took it off. Because it gives so much that all of you get touched beyond. And we observe it. So we all get touched by the fields around us in different ways. And you will see, you will understand how much your environment, your gases, your nano-coating, everything affects your emotion, your way you are, and the things you do with it. If you want to be pure, move somewhere else, but you're so contaminated everywhere you are in your houses that it's impossible to be away from something. Even if you bury them 10 meters underground, because you bury them, you touch them, they're connected to you above you. Any other question? Shall we answer the last question and we call it a day?
Okay, I was going to say, Azar had a hand up here, but the hand is down, so I'm not sure if she still has a question there. There is a question in our chat. Perhaps you can address, Mr. Keshe, and the other questions people can carry over till next week, perhaps. So the question from Liliana, which is actually a question from Tulia from the Hispanic group. What happens to the souls of the innocent children of human trafficking and pedophilia, organ trafficking and blood trafficking for the industry and adrenochrome? thank you if someone can forward this question. So that's the question forwarded from Tulia.
Can you explain that?
Well, she's asking what happens to the souls of the innocent children who get abused through the various systems that are happening on our planet. Still there, Mr. Keshe? We're not hearing you. I think your microphone.
I just trying to say something. We've been through this. Children, doesn't matter abuse or adult abuse or whatever, it's still the same soul. I used to, when I was a student in Queen Mary, I used to live in houses. I didn't like to live in university accommodation. And I chose to live in a beautiful brand new house. And they were an Indian couple, young Indian couple, educated, highly educated guys, the lifestyle and everything else. And every night, the guy used to beat the hell out of the girl. It was his national sport to show he's important or he has the power. And I just told the woman, why do you take this? After a few days, I left the house. I couldn't stand it. And the abuse doesn't come from children. It comes in every shape or form. Children abuse touches them for life and changes them for life. And we are not aware of abuses, even though as parents we try to be the best parent to our child, but they have their own dimension of thinking about, and to them could be abuse, and they pack without us knowing it. But those who go out deliberately abusing children, they don't have any place left to what do you call it? These are what we call the dust in the universe. Nomads. And we had enough of them around Keshe Foundation. I'm so glad that all of them went and left. When one person left the Keshe Foundation, all went with it. Or when we kicked somebody out of the Keshe Foundation, we saw a depletion of 50, 60, 100 of them. All the pedophile went with. And I couldn't get rid of it till I found out it actually was part of. And always blame myself. I should have been more vigilant. Then that's the biggest problem. That is the absolute biggest problem. And always elevate the soul of the children. That's what it is. But abusers will come in different shape or form and size. We had a football coach, one of the top pedophiles, in Switzerland. Came to be very smart in Keshe Foundation, then we found out. Now the Swiss police went after him when he escaped to Denmark. And they came around Keshe Foundation because there were young people coming after new energies and people having young families. And we had enough of them around, what do you call it, Keshe Foundation. And I always pray, I hope to get rid of these people. I couldn't understand why we have so many pedophiles around Keshe Foundation. Till I found out very recently, past few years, that the head of one of the biggest, oldest pedophiles families was inside the Keshe Foundation, and she was bringing them, all of them in. You don't see a lot of knowledge seekers who past 3-4 years have disappeared out of the foundation. Very vocal. They were all pedophiles, men or women. We found out, and it's all gone. And I see myself responsible. I should have known. And because they were abused from childhood, they became abusers themselves, and they saw it as their right. It's just to elevate for the soul. Just there, and then one day you'll find a solution. They'll find their own ways. They'll go back on their own ways. Red Circle was one of the biggest pedophiles, one of the heads, and how he infiltrated so much. And he was brought in by the same people. And they are like, nowadays we call them the all color rainbow people, gays. There's nothing wrong to be gay because it's part of their way of their life. But if you notice them, they always bring their own up, all the top singers, whatever, because so many of them, of themselves, they hear, so they support to be, because it's them. It's like the Jewish people. You don't know, the Jews just support and put everything else to make somebody famous because he's a Jew, and without you knowing. And then you find out, oh God, they're in it because they support themselves. They do the same. Pedophiles go into establishment and do this. One finds a foot in, the rest get themselves in, and they all operate in a way that you don't see. And are very, very active in. It took us, we put Alan Sterling away for life in solitary prison. Red Circle, and then the other one we kicked out of the Keshe Foundation 3-4 years ago. And a bunch of women and others who were part of the same went with it. The Swiss teacher who brought in by the same lady, and the rest of it. And I always saw myself responsible. How did I see? And always pray that we elevate the soul of the children which are abused, and hopefully they don't become abusers. And that's all we can do. If you're aware of it, just elevate the soul of the children who are abused. Doesn't matter sexually, physically, verbally, in any shape or form. That they find that strength in their soul to exist. Thank you very much for today. We call it a day, and we see what it brings. Don't forget to come in next week with your headphones, and we might experience something very, very nice. And don't forget our cuddly toys, which they have put up on there for the Christmas promotion. Thank you very much, Rick, and see you next week.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Thank you for answering so many questions here. And those that have the leftover questions, please carry them over to next week, because there's still some good questions left, and we want to hear from you. Okay, so thanks everyone for being here today for the 515th Knowledge Seekers Workshop on Thursday, December 7th, 2023. Our next public teaching workshop, let me just confirm the date. I believe it will be December 11th. On Monday is the public meeting for testimonials. And if you have any experiences of the plasma technology, whether it's a personal experience or something through the ganses or other materials you might be using, that is a good place to to share with the rest of the knowledge seekers your experiences. And that again is on Monday, December 11th, and that starts at the 8 p.m. Central European Time slot. Okay, and after that will be on the 12th is Tuesday, the One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace and Justice. And that starts at the 4 p.m. Central European Time. Okay, I think that's it for announcements. We'll go out once again with our favorite flight enhancement spaceship unit, music version, and I hope you all have a lovely day, and we'll see you all in the next public teaching workshop. Bye for now.